Buongiorno, bikers. I'm Farax, currently fighting the god of periods because I love my women. Come cazzo mi è venuto in mente questa stronzata? So, now we can finally talk about the DLC after almost a year that it has been released. Yeah. I'm just a tiny bit late on the hype train for the Elden Ring DLC. This DLC contains 2 new bosses, 2 new characters, and basically a whole ass new map. It technically is a shifting earth, but unlike the other ones, this is a whole map. It's literally a new map. It's not like a small region that has been transformed in something else. No, you actually change where you are going. You are not going on Limvale. It's underground and it's kinda cool because it has the crystals where once you've destroyed them, you can then make a gigantic jump and then you can go and collect the stuff, but we'll get to it soon. So the DLC starts with the little potboy that takes you to a fight with the Draglord. Okay, and you can see 2 NPCs in the fight. Skipping ahead because it's quote-unquote scripted, so whatever, if you win or if you die, doesn't change the outcome. When the fight finishes, you see a cool cutscene and the door behind Jarboy is opened. You see that the 2 NPCs are actually the 2 new characters. Scholar and Undertaker, Undertaker, yes, the Undertaker. Okay, so remember that I was saying that the map is cool, but it's hard at best and confusing at worst. Your objective is, like I said, destroying some crystals so that you can go in the main area and find loot stuff, and there's even a tower that is basically a boss rush, and I love it. It's so incredibly cool. Not only the idea, but in general, like, it's clever to use a boss rush in a game like Nightreign, where the main quote-unquote issue is that you have to go to the boss if you want to fight them. But fighting 3 bosses back to back to reach the top of the tower and get a buff, I don't even remember what the buff was, and is a cool idea because it removes the boring part of reaching to the boss and doing nothing. Unfortunately, I have a rare condition called laziness and skill issue that prevents me to be able to play this map optimally because I never memorized where the crystals are, unlike some of my friends. I started by playing the Undertaker. She's a strength fate build that focuses on buffing herself and to do big numbers. Her ability is basically a mod that makes you sprint, gives you a better dodge and higher poise. She technically has 2 ultimates because when the ult is ready, you can hold the button that should activate your ability, and instead of the normal ability, it gives you a buffed version of such ability that basically gives you Ultra Instinct, or just take a whole bone out of your mouth and go and hit the target. But we're not done, because when an ally uses an ult or you dodge a grab, you get a free use of the offensive ult. This translates in 3 Undertakers using their ult a grand total of 9 times in a row and giving back shots to the bosses. The Scholar is very different and it's basically the item character. He uses items and by doing so they level up and have special effects. He was so good when the DLC first came out because of the damage that he could do with bombs, and the devs decided to nerf the merchant by no longer giving him infinite items. So now all of the merchants in the entire map have a limited amount of bombs and other stuff, if I remember correctly, and it's shared. So it's not like you can go to one merchant and buy all of his bombs and go to another merchant and buy more bombs. It's shared and are a total of 99 bombs, if I remember correctly. The scholar fits more in the support role because he mainly helps his teammates to do the damage thanks to his ult and the debuffs that can apply to the enemies. He can also just buff himself, or if he uses a common relic that was already out before Color, he can actually use the item and buff all of his teammates with the cool effect that he has, and it's a must equip on him. Oh yeah, and also, do you remember my old schizograph? The Undertaker is a outlier because the Undertaker, actually, both of them are outliers because the Undertaker is a mix of Wilder and Revenant. Meanwhile, the Scholar is a strange version of the Samurai Joe, the executor, right? I forgot his name, I'm sorry, Boy. But the true highlight of the DLC are the bosses. Before going to the Night Lords, I think that a praise is due to Artorias, the fucking Demon Prince, and Mog. They are reworked in a way that makes them a perfect fit for Nightreign. Artorias has a stronger and cooler second phase with also a new attack. It's the grab that he does in the cutscene and it's so cool. Mog is just a pain in the ass, but the second phase, after the first Nihil, he can create a bunch of things that can be destroyed so that you can stop a second Nihil, because every trident, if I remember correctly, create an area effect that basically is the Nihil. And it's so good, it's so cool, because you have to call them out and say, okay, I'm destroying the one in the center, I'm destroying one where I am right now, and say, oh, or like, I'm keeping Mog occupied while you destroy the tridents, or like, oh my god, it's going to proc, come here that I've destroyed a trident, so now here is safe.
Faccio quello al centro io.
Ti aiuto pure, facciamolo più veloce così. Ok, faccio questo qua dietro io.
Faccio questo. Blaze, tienitelo se riesci.
Ah, ok.
Ah, lei stava venendo verso di...
No, tranquillo, c'ho io.
Ok.
L'ho distrutto quello al centro, voglio.
Ok, ne sto distruggendo uno al lato, mi manca pochissimo, ok.
Vengo da una mano, ok.
Abbiamo un po' più di spazio, mo.
It makes you feel like you're fighting a raid boss, and I love it. The Demon Prince are genius, because they still have the gimmick where they fuse into one in the second phase, and it changes to whoever you kill first. But the fight is divided in the first phase for the first day and the second phase for the second day. And I love it because in the second phase, you see the second phase cooler Demon Prince, buffed Demon Prince in the sky flying and landing on the center of the arena, and it's so cool. Like, in the first time you fight them, you go like, oh my god, a true face boss fight in the first day. You defeat one of them, the other screams and just flies away and leaves a drop. Then you understand, oh, so the second phase is in the second day. It's so fucking big. Now we can finally move to the Night Lords. We're starting with the Balancers, not only because they are the first one you fight, but because they are the only one you can fight when you get the access to the DLC content for reasons like for real, like they block the access to the Dreadlord because they are the Balancers and the Dreadlord is this strange thing that fucks up everything. It's like an amalgamation of the F of all the possible Nightfarers or something like that. I didn't understand. Go check out the lore. I don't care. It's cool. It's I have to wait to tell you about the Dreadlord, but I'm biting my nails. So the Balancers. The fight is divided in two phases that are not that different from one another. The first one is that you kill the Balancers. It's just a gang fight with a bunch of enemies. And it's cool because not only you can parry them, but you can do the Executor parry, of course, because the Executor parries every fucking thing. But the Executor works because they do a ton of attacks, and if you parry them all, you can basically always do a riposte. It's great. And the second phase, there's one that gets buffed and guides the other Balancers and make a whole bunch of attacks, explosions and stuff. The fight is simple, but trust me when I say that they are very strong and they will turn you into my eraser when I was 10. When you defeat them, you can fight the Dreadlord as a Night Lord. And let me tell you, this motherfucker is so fucking strong. This dude has 4 whole faces. He has 2 in the first health bar and 2 more in his second health bar. His main element is the Scarlet Rod, of course, and in its first health bar focuses on heavy hitting attacks and summoning minions so that he can get damage buff because fuck you, I guess. The second phase. Dio mio, la seconda fase. Mi ha dato gli incubi, non posso manco dirlo in inglese, io ce l'ho scritto in inglese. Altro che gli incubi, qua stiamo parlando di PTSD. If I had a nickel for every time this game triggered my pattern recognition without me noticing, I would have 2 nickels. It's not much, but it's weird that happened twice. But seriously, he has the same moveset of Guile, and I was dodging it without many issues, and without even realizing it was the same timing of Guile. I was probably also doing the same motions. I don't know. It came out so natural to me and gave me quite a confidence boost. I'm not gonna lie.
Richiede non solo una God Run, ma anche la skill. Voi avete la skill?
Tanta.
Io sì.
No.
Io un minimo sì.
Modestamente
sì.
Mirko, io sì.
Non per lui magari, ma in generale un po' sì. Almeno, minchia, allora, si può dire che sono scarso in tanti giochi, nei Souls no.
Games dico.
Sì.
Unfortunately, of course, I'm not that strong, so he killed me in the first try because of the Scarlet Rot and the heavy damage. So I tried doing something smart. When the Everdark bosses released, in the same update, they added a special shop that mainly gives relics, or at least that's what I used it for 90% of the times. But you can also decide to change the Shifting Earth and decide what Shifting Earth is going to spawn. And obviously I chose the forest, so that I could get the blessing and be immune to the Scarlet Rot. I mean, it worked in the first phase, and it went great. Until...
77, ora 5 anni.
Ma porca puttana, cioè, questo tizio, this motherfucker removes the blessing at the start of the second health bar. Okay, FromSoft, you did it, I fell for it, and you know what, I'll gladly accept the challenge, so it's time to lock in.
Mi porta una soddisfazione tirare la ultimate. sta cazzo.
Lotus fai il cesso perché il giro solo scopo.
Vaffanculo, mamma.
Quante volte?
Come una bucchina.
Vabbè, è una conclusione, dopo ne farà.
Non so perché mi abbia aggravato, ma...
Ho finito la stamina.
Non solo quando il tuo
Merda!
PS4 Xbox One fa cagare la partita, ma il post può essere anche da Switch. Quando i nemici non spawnano vuol dire che il post è da Switch.
Vabbè.
Tu se devi iniziare una partita su Warframe e vedi che i nemici non spawnano vuol dire che il giocatore ti sei connesso sta giocando da
ragazzi.
Switch.
Dovrebbe morire con questa.
Immagina se...
Sì. Pure qua.
Mamma, questa supera la fine.
Fanculo.
Madonna, quella supera la fine.
Mamma mia, raga.
Defeating the Dreadlord gives you his relic, of course, and it's very good if used on Executor, but it's especially great with Scholar because he doesn't have good damaging weapons, and after proccing the status, he can stay in the back lines and use items when he needs to, while also being helpful with some extra DPS. And that's it. That's the DLC. The video is not over yet. What did I miss? They are right behind me, aren't they? Of course, they couldn't stop themselves and release the Everdark Balancers. I already spoiled everything, but a spoiler warning is due again because they are that good to fight in a blind run. So I'm leaving you another couple of seconds. Okay, so the first phase is the usual. You fight the balancers, you kill them all, and when the last one dies, they go into the second phase.
Ok.
They are so fucking scary. They do massive damage. Their damage type is blood loss, and if they inflict it to you, you will start losing HP like the brain fiends from Bloodborne. And if it wasn't enough, they turn into a gigantic fucking worm that makes massive attacks that always finishes into a big... it's not even an explosion, it's a cool flower that blooms and causes blood loss if you don't stop them first or if you are not far enough. Oh, and they're still ganking you, you know? And when you kill one, it will have a damage buff, because why the fuck not? Oh, I managed to kill the Everdark version of the Balancers in a solo run, the easiest one, with a build crafted specifically to kill them. And also a ton of luck. Don't overestimate me. And also even the Nightfarer was chosen to specifically fight them. I didn't take Wilder because Wilder wasn't the pick for the solo run. May I remind you, my Wilder, my boy, is also my main. If I don't use Wilder and I decide to use another character, it's probably because it's not the very best choice, you know. So now it covers it all. Unfortunately, for real this time. The game has been out for over a year now, and it didn't had any major updates since the release of the DLC, leaving this game is just a memory and without much more content being released. Honestly, I prefer it this way. You see, it's the same thing with Peak, the game. The fact that we are used to many updates for a game doesn't mean that the devs should always release new ones. I mean, sure, some things could be added and it would make the game much better, but I think that focusing now that the game is done on new content isn't really that healthy. Not only for us, but for the experience. We would continue to think what it could be and not think what the game gave us. I have this game in my heart. It really rekindled my flame for Souls games and made me feel a sense of community that I've never experienced and probably will never experience ever again. And that's okay. So, while I play something else, I'll think back at those moments where I was supposed to wake up at 8 a.m., but I will still say to my friends, how about one more run, even though it was 1 a.m. With that being said, stay awesome, be kind, and ride safe.